the best things on this world are always enjoyed with music. You know, they're always enjoyed with music. Whatever
I
those
actually like
things
my
are.
sex silent. If we're talking about sexual intercourse,
I mean,
I'd rather
that
it
could
be a
it.
silent experience. You know what I mean? I don't like to mix music with that.
But you know, music doesn't hurt the experience neither. Not saying it requires.
Sometimes
music.
I start like singing the song while I'm doing it, and I lose my potency. Like if R. Kelly's on, like I start seems like it, and then I'm there, and then I'm like I'm not where I'm supposed to be at that moment.
Well, yeah. I'm MC Enigma.
Bishop, Negros Americanos.
Negros Americanos. From Plainfield, New Jersey, born and raised.
I was born in Newark, New Jersey. Grew up in a small city of Plainfield, New Jersey. So I met this individual.
We used to play ball though, like in elementary school.
We knew each other in elementary school, but we really met each other in middle school. There's different styles that's merged in there, different genres, all intertwined, but the basis is always going to be hip hop. And we do it in 3 different languages. We're the only group that's doing that from this country. You know, Europeans, they speak a lot of languages, so they have multiple lingual music, but we do English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And the goal is to just unite people all over the world. We look like we're in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? I know there's a lot of Panamanians in Brooklyn. Y'all got a lot of Eastern Parkway.
Yes,
Y'all got a big Panamanian population. If you meet some Panamanians and you look at them, they don't open their mouths. African American, they could be Trini, they could be. It's Afro-Latinos that the world doesn't really know about. The story in a nutshell, real quick version, is that in Plainfield, New Jersey, it's a small hood. It's a hood island surrounded by white suburbia. It's about 12 miles away from Newark. So if you want to get to the next hood, which is Newark, you have to venture out into that whiteness. But inside of that town, there's a lot of Latino population. We have a huge Latino population. It's probably 50-50 black and Latino. And there's a lot of problems between the two. Murders, robberies, a lot of black people, thugs, they'll rob Latinos and take their stuff because they know they're immigrants, they're legal, so they can't do anything about it. And so they got the MS-13, they got gangs now, and they're out of protection, but sometimes they randomly strike back. So we just figured that if we could go to a place where we could learn the language, when we come back, we'll actually be understood.
Well, we all have a common blood too. We all have a common lineage. That's not to be forgotten.
We weren't part of any programs. We just decided we was gonna leave.
You travel abroad, study abroad.
Nah, we just left, yo. But before we left, I did a lot of research online on how to do it, and they said get a certificate to teach English. So we stayed out there for a year. We taught English to finance the trip, and I got a certificate. We got certificates across about a G to do the class. He was at Yale already, so I would come up so we could do the class together. The class was housed at Yale. In Connecticut, so I would take the Metro North, whatever, and then go up there, and we took the classes. It was like 3 weekends, right? It was 3 different weekends, cost a G. We got the certification. They never placed us with a job. I thought at the end of that, you paid a G. I'm like, y'all gonna place us with a job? They was like, nah, you just gotta take a flight and go look for it. It was this 3 months without getting a job. We went to mad jobs.
I took the napper fights. Like I had lots.
Oh, the napper fights.
I took the napper fights.
We coined that
couldn't
phrase.
be 2 of us. You know what I mean? Walking in there like.
Yeah, we both had lots.
They'd have heard the drums and the spear and all that. So
you cut it shit.
I became Tiger Woods. I took the napper fights. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't.
But for survival, we was out there. We were staying past our return ticket, and still wasn't getting any jobs. Every blog was like, "Oh, you're American." They're gonna be running towards you.
It was written by white men.
White American.
Their life was easier out there. They got a job. We had certificates. We had degrees. These motherfuckers came up all gnarly and shit. It was like, yeah, dude, man.
Like this, hanging out.
It's like, yeah, I found a job in a day. It was easy. So I go there, they're looking at me like, cause yo, the judgment and the stereotypes, it don't only exist here. Everybody talk about this is the most racist country. Nah, racism has different faces, but that shit is all over the world, yo. In every country, it exists. And so I was a weed smoking Rasta with no goals. That's how I was looked at.
As a result, it kept us safe in the street.
Kept us safe in the street. But in the corporate world,
they would get,
held us back like a motherfucker. It was a water crisis in the country when we first moved there. There was no running water for 3 months. That was our first introduction to that country. We were all shitting on top of each other's shit until the end of the day. We would take a bucket and flush the toilet. So you can imagine, you know, the smells and that heat, you know. But we finally found jobs around the 3rd month. We moved out, had our own apartments, and my apartment had a mouse infestation. They were everywhere. I'm talking like just running to the point where I would wake up in the middle of the night and I had to go to the bathroom, but to not see them, I'm like, oh! So then, you know, they scurry. That way, when I turned the light on, I just didn't want to see them, you know. After a while, I couldn't deal with it no more. I started dealing with a woman out there. She was in her 40s. She lived in the hood. Only reason we only met her because we wanted to explore. Talk 25 cents to go anywhere you want on the bus. So we rode the bus into a place where we were told not to go. And I saw a woman with a beautiful afro. And I stepped to her and I started talking to her and she became my girlfriend. And I had to do that. She was in her 40s, but I had to do that because all the beautiful black women, some the color of this, just some of the most beautiful women you ever want to see, just walk down the street. I mean, you got to look for ugly women in Panama. It's real. Like they're beautiful out there. But the problem is that's physical beauty. Because what do the black women out there have a phrase? It's called mejora la raza.
Mejora la raza.
That means to better the race. So their mother is telling their daughters that, oh no, you don't want your kid to be like this because I'm like that. You turned out like that because I didn't have the opportunity to get a white man. So, but you do better than me.
Your blood.
Be better than me. You know, get yourself a white man so that your kid can be more worth it for life. You know, and so I'm going out there reading the blogs like, oh, you know, we're Americans, so we're gonna have chicks flocking to us. It wasn't like that, yo.
This one girl I went on a date with straight up told me, she said, "You're not American. Like, I seen Hurricane Katrina." Like they're aware of our treatment, how we're like, I guess, second-class citizens in a first world country. They're well aware of it, especially now with all the police brutality. They're well aware of it. So it's kind of like, I'm thinking maybe a survival tactic because they want more opportunities for their kids, but it goes even deeper than that, man. It's like, it's a lot of self-hatred. It's a lot of self-hatred. So we're trying to rearrange it and break it, you know, and establish a new rule. It's hip-hop on the Israeli and the Palestinian side of things, you know, so that's one common thing that could bring us together. And then from there, we could talk politics, we could talk race, we could talk class, gender, pop, you know, all those different things. But hip-hop is, it's a universal language. It keeps the funeral home not open as much, you know what I'm saying? It keeps us from going to a psychiatric ward or hurting ourselves or indulging in destructive activity. It's a constructive way to get it out, you know, just like a sport or boxing or something. You know, it's a way to deal with the drama. It's a conduit. It's a way to express. So you get it off your chest, so you don't have to, like some of the toughest stuff that I've encountered in my life that I actually wrote about, I feel free now. I don't have to walk around like, oh, well, this happened. Now that it's out of me, it's like a level of separation. You could third person it kind of and look at it like, okay, so this happened. So definitely it's healing, man. It's definitely healing.
It's like talking to a psychologist, you know what I mean? You get it out there and you can move on from it, you know? Or it's like you said, it's like going to the gym too, you know? It's at the end of the day, it's part of a ritual. The day is not complete if you're not writing something, if you're not practicing stage performance, because that's another thing. And that's exercise. We'll be sweating, practicing. You know, we doing it. It's because, you know, we give a live show. And you got to, you know, always be on the P's and Q's about it. And make sure everything's good. So, because sometimes we get gigs, they call and it's like, yo, tomorrow, could you be here? Could you do that? And, you know, we already been practicing, so the set's ready. You know what I mean?
And too, like, if you open up and share your experience, or you touch on a topic that, you know, other people might relate to, and you're being honest with your expression, you know, other people connect with it and might come up to you and say, hey, you know, I felt that. That's what I needed today. That put me right back on track. You know, that helped rejuvenate. And that's we just want to heal, man. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
That's hard.
That is hard.
Damn. That I can't live without.
There's Dragon Ball Z.
That's a good one.
That's a good one, but it's your favorite though.
Yeah, favorite that I could keep watching and not feel. You know what? I like Exo Squad. There was a cartoon that came out called Exo Squad in the 90s, and it was about Homo sapiens, and then these I forget what they were called, but there were these blue aliens. And basically, Phaeton, he was the leader of the blue aliens. It was an uprising from the blue aliens to the humans. The blue aliens was like a slave race that humans created. They grafted themselves and created a blue alien to do the work that humans didn't want to do. So there's a lot of correlations between that and society and imperialism. I like that show. It's called Exo Squad. It's on Hulu for free. You check it out.
If it's not Dragon Ball Z, I'll say Care Bears. Care Bears, you can learn a lot of life lessons watching Care Bears. You guys watch Care Bears recently? Yo, there's a lot of life lessons in Care Bears. Everyone had their own thing. There was the rainbow one, right, where they flew on the rainbow. They were all different colors. They all had, like, some of them sprinkled shit. You know what I mean? It was...
Sprinkled shit, that's what they do.
No, there was life lessons about how to treat people and, like, you know, friendship, camaraderie, love, crushes, all that shit. Then there was Doug. No, Doug. Doug had to
Patty
be.
Mayonnaise.
Patty Mayonnaise. That was my boo, yo. She was mad linear, but she always had Doug's back, yo. She was a ride or die.
She was a down-ass chick.
She was. She was the first in my life. The first down-ass chick was Patty Mayonnaise, yo. I always wanted a Patty Mayonnaise. That's my favorite cartoon. Doug.
Yeah. Right now, I like Steven Universe, man.
We are the crystal gems.